Hello, everybody. Welcome. I'm No02, and the teasing continues. Turtle Rock has released 3 new cards to be revealed at the release of their next expansion, which they have not as of me recording this video, they have not released the official date of the new expansion yet. But we are quite excited for it, of course. What we have here is one horrible card, one really good card, and one sort of interesting card here, right? Crippling Frequency. Activate your offensive slot to emit a pulse that reduces damage taken by teammates within 25 meters by 2 for each active application for 7 seconds. And its activation costs 30 SMG bullets. So if you don't know this, there's going to be a new mechanic here where cards will replace one of your 3 primary accessory slots, and it will become a button that you can sort of just hit over and over again. It will cost you one of the ammo types. You'll get some sort of buff, some sort of effect here. Now this buff is really just your teammates, yourself and your teammates suffer 2 points of damage less. You get what is it, a Scar Tissue is a card right now that's like you take 1 point less damage from Ridden. This is essentially the same thing, but an activation of it, and it's 2 instead of 1, right? This is a horrible card. Horrible card. Now, you might be looking at this and think like, well, if all 4 players are running it, and you also have Scar Tissue, I mean, that can be, that's, 8 plus your Scar Tissue, 9 points of damage reduction. Common zombies hit you for like 10, 12, 14, 16, in that sort of range, depending on what your cards and what difficulty you're playing on. So it can be a significant chunk of damage for dealing with the Horde. But almost regardless, for the most part, this effect is not even remotely close. Not even remotely close to being worth not having your offensive slot. Having our offensive slot taken away is key. It's the offensive slot is like the most important thing in the game for the most part. It's like copper and grenades or pipe bomb are like the most important things in the game, like just in general. And so even if this was like your team becomes invincible for 7 seconds, honestly, I don't even think then it would be worth it. Even then, I don't think it would be worth it. Like, maybe it would be worth it, but for the most part, it's just removing our offensive slot is an unbelievably huge sacrifice. And so whatever benefit we get from a card that removes that offensive slot, it needs to be an unbelievably powerful effect. And this is not it. Reduce your teammates' damage by 2. And if you want it to be more than 2, you need to sacrifice 4 card slots. 2, 3, 4 card slots for it. Not even worth it. A horrible card. God-awful card. Really bad card. But then followed up is Fill 'em Up Full of Lead. We got Charisse shredding it. This is a great card. While shooting, gain 1% damage, 1% fire rate, and 5% swap speed every 0.25 seconds. Max count of buffs is 20. So I imagine is that once you start holding down the trigger and start shooting your gun, you begin stacking the buffs every 0.25 seconds. If you stop shooting, I imagine all the buffs like drop like almost immediately after you are finished shooting. And that, in fact, you'll probably need to like hold down the trigger, and if you want to swap while you're still shooting, because you can do that. But this is going to become, if you're going to run an assault rifle, or, and more specifically, an LMG, this is going to be great for LMGs. This is going to pretty much become like a must-include card if you're planning on running an LMG. It'll be a must-include card for LMGs if you're planning on doing damage. If you want to do more damage overall, like increase your DPS, then this is going to be pretty much a must-have card for anyone who's running an AR, essentially. And even better if you're running an LMG, right? 20% bonus damage, right? Nothing else in the game comes that close to doing that without some sort of dramatic, loss of something, right? Like glass cannon, you have to lose 30% of your health and things like that, right? Uh, Confident Killer. You need to, for each mutation you kill over the course of a mission, you get plus 1% up to 15%, right? Like, nothing else really, like, does 20% or around that without having some sort of significant drawback. The only other card that comes close is maybe, like, Power Swap, right? Which is a fairly easy thing to do, but it ends up requiring certain weapon combinations so that your secondary can set up your primary and things like that. It takes a little bit of practice to get used to. This is just, you shoot your gun, and if you keep shooting your gun, you get an extra 20%. Now, of course, when it comes to dealing with the Horde, not really a big deal. In fact, potentially my cat's going crazy over there. But for when it comes to using an AR or an LMG to deal with mutations, a must-have card all of a sudden, because 20% can't be really replicated by any of the other cards. The fire rate increase also increases our DPS. DPS is damage per bullet and rate of fire, and this has got both of them increasing as well. This might make like the AK LMG variant way stronger now with the fire rate increase. And interestingly enough, the swap speed. Nothing too in particular here that might be, I don't know, relevant with the swap speed. I know there's some particular circumstances, like maybe you're running the double primary weapon card. That might be relevant. This is going to be obviously a card that encourages you to mag dump. So maybe you have admin reload, you do a full mag dump, and then you can switch weapons. And then I don't know if you can potentially carry the buff over to your second weapon, maybe? Then you got admin reload, and then you can swap back and forth and keep the damage boost. And now you got power swap rolling in, and for an extra 40, extra 20%. I don't know. Either way that we look at this card, if you're running an assault rifle or an LMG, and you want to do more damage, you will have this card. This will be one of your 2-3 cards that you include for damage. Pretty cool. Great card. Very easy to include into a lot of decks, I think. Now here is the interesting card. Experimental Stun Gun. Here's the interesting card. Activate your quick slot to enhance bash with a 5-meter stun. Refreshing after 10 seconds and it's removed by receiving damage. So first of all, let's just talk about the timing thing here, right? So disables your quick slot, takes 20 sniper bullets to activate. My understanding of it is you push the button, you activate this effect. You can use it once every 20 seconds. I mean, every 10 seconds, once every 10 seconds. But so long as you don't receive damage, you can just keep reusing it every 10 seconds. So in theory, you can activate it once and then carry it with you all the way to the end of a mission. All the way to the end if you just don't take any damage. So kind of a neat concept here. Where this might be, you know, it's semi-permanent because it depends on whether or not you take damage. What I'm a little confused here, it feels a little vague, is enhances your bash with a 5-meter stun. So does that mean we can still punch and it does the normal like 180 punch stumble effect, but like in the middle of that punch we tase something? That taser has a range of 5 meters, which is about the same range as the normal taser, I think. Or does this replace our bash entirely with a like taser animation, and then in between those 10 seconds we can bash normally? So is it like, does it replace our bash? Or I get the feeling enhance bash means that we still get the normal bash, but right in the center we can tase something? Or does it tase the whole 180? I don't know, but a very interesting card. Either way that you sort of, if any one of those ways that we look at it there, or, you know, theorize how it might be, either way, the point is this card will disable your click slot so that your melee punch, your basic melee punch, has the potential to stun a mutation, right? Because we don't care about stunning Ridden. The punch already stumbles them backwards. We don't care about that, right? But we can potentially deal with some mutations now with the stun gun. how often though? The question then becomes like, how often though are you finding yourself in a position where you can punch a mutation safely? Where you can get within 5 meters of mutation safely without taking damage? Because imagine running up to mutation, the intention of tasing it, and then something happens. A zombie shows up out of the shadows. The stinger shows up around the corner. Just feel like there's a lot of circumstance where like things might go wrong and you get hit, and then you're like spamming your quick slot button to help ensure that you still keep the effect because you have to spend it again. What mutations do you even feel comfortable walking up to? Right? None of them. Now, obviously, there's some circumstances where like maybe somebody's grabbed by a crusher, maybe somebody's being eaten by a hag. This card can come in really, really clutch as far as just like you pop it when the circumstance is right, and then you sprint up to the crusher and you stun it, right? This card might also make dealing with the hag super easy as well, because you can just reliably, comfortably let somebody just pull aggro on it and just be ready with the stun when they start getting eaten. So again, this is a really interesting card here. How does this card interact if you have Combat Knife in your deck as well? So some mystery shrouded in the experimental stun gun here as far as how it interacts with our basic punch and interacts with the other cards, and potentially how you use it. This card, I think, is going to be all about how creative and skilled someone can be by using and practicing it. We'll see how it goes, because there's the obvious, like, stun the crusher, stun the hag. But if you get really good at, like, dodging tall boy hits, or baiting out hits from, like, the tall boy, baiting out the hits from the bruiser, this could be a relatively effective way to deal with them as well. In theory, we would use it to save a grenade instead, right? Instead of throwing a grenade, we can bait out the hit from a tall boy, stun it, and then people shoot it down. So it's like we trade ammo for grenades, or grenades for, ammo for grenades and stuff like that. So there might be some really interesting potential here for this card. Some high risk, high reward, right? But a very interesting card here. And that is all the new cards. One little bonus thing here. The achievements. I sort of talked about how I think it was like people were speculating that there was going to be Act 5, and now at this point I think it's been officially announced there is an Act 5. In fact, there's 13 hidden achievements in your Steam achievements right now for Back 4 Blood. But funny enough, we can go view global achievement stats. And if we scroll down, right, we got the achievements. Who Snipes the Snipers? Duffel Brothers barely made it, or barely made it. Smoke and Mirrors, take a bow. Act 5 Cleaner, Force Major Claws, Jar Jar Bonks, Left Fork Dead End, and Balanced Meal, and then all the complete the Act 5 Ace Veteran Recruit. So look at that. Kind of neat, kind of exciting, right? Who Snipes the Sniper? Notice here that we got the little skull here in the bottom right corner. A previous achievement, Good Riddance, which is eliminate X amount of ridden over your career. Has a little same skull here, so I assume Who Snipes the Sniper might be potentially a new mutation, and this is a achievement for eliminating X amounts of that new mutation. Kind of interesting. Got Duffel Brothers. Notice the little like gold bag, little money bag. I think higher up here we have a previous achievement, Stacked Deck, with the same little money bag achievement or symbol in the bottom right corner. So this says to me maybe this is like acquire X amount of things over the course of the mission. Some sort of new mechanic, acquire loot bags, acquire some sort of upgrade that does something for you. X amount of duffel bag, something like that. So I feel like the little money symbol here is like acquire X amount of something over the course of a run. Barley made it? No idea. Has no symbol, but they are releasing the bear trap, so I assume it's do something with the bear trap, right? Do something with the bear trap. Maybe it's like last second, throw down a bear trap that stops a tall boy from charging or something like that. Interestingly enough, right underneath it we have Smoke and Mirrors, but without the mirrors, with the smoke grenade. And we got a little plus symbol here. And I think the plus symbol is represented in a previous achievement. Way up here. Hippocrates would be proud. Hippo, don't judge me. Hippocrates would be proud. Heal a teammate. Heal a teammate, and that's the only other achievement that previously has that plus symbol. But again, this sort of just feels like do something very specific with the smoke grenade, right? With the smoke bomb. Heal a teammate. Maybe this is like stand in the smoke with a mutation. Break aggro on a mutation with a smoke grenade, right? Like do something with the smoke grenade. Do something with the bear trap. So I feel like the bear trap should also have the plus symbol on it. Take a bow. Take a bow. Flaming arrow. Elimination. So this might be eliminate X amount to eliminate enemies with a particular weapon, which we know there's been achievements for that as well in the past with the same elimination skull. So bow and arrow in the game now. Ability to set it on fire. We have Act-5 Cleaner, which I think is beat Act-5 on the highest difficulty. But I think it's Nightmare and No Hope mode and or. Then we have the skull symbol again with Force Majeure Claws. Some sort of new particular weapon. Melee weapon, maybe you can add it on to your basic punch attack, or it's going to be in our secondary slot. But eliminate enemies with a new weapon type. We got Jar Jar Bonks. I feel like the bear trap and the bile jar should have the little plus symbol as well, but this sounds like hit a mutation or a boss directly with one of the puke jars or whatever, one of the attraction jars, the bile jars. That's what the bile jars, right? Do something specific with the bile jar, and then we have the left fork dead end, little question mark symbol. That's the same symbol for all of these secret achievements, right? Find the secret in the abomination and 300 below. That's like the little like skull, the golden skull, like statues or trophies. So for Act 5, it will have its own hidden location for that. And then complete Act 5 on the variety of difficulties. And then balanced meal with the little money bag here. Same thing, right? I imagine that this is sort of like acquire X amount of something over the course of a run. Food related. But yeah, that's all the new achievements that will be coming out with Act 5, the new expansion. Very exciting, very cool. As soon as I hear the release date for this Act 5 expansion, I'll let you guys go. I'll let you guys know. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. Exciting for the cards, making the game more dynamic, more deck building depth and whatnot. Very, very cool. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the future.